Often the first step in actively managing how you use your time is goal setting. A goal is something that answers the question, what do you want? The challenge here is to set effective goals. So in this video, I'm going to give you my best advice as to how to do goal setting well and set the kind of goals that you can meet. Before we get into how to set goals, I want to say one important thing. Goal setting works. Albert Bandura and Daniel Trevone did a series of experiments with cyclists that show performance improvement correlates with two things: goal setting and feedback. If you set goals and if you gain feedback on how you're doing against them, your performance will improve. And it will improve more than someone who is practicing without goals or without feedback. Yes, setting goals alone creates a better improvement. And yes, setting feedback without goals creates a better improvement. But the sweet spot is setting goals and getting feedback. And I think it works well for two reasons. Firstly, if you've set your own goal, it can be motivating. The goal gives you purpose, gives you enthusiasm. It motivates you to work harder, be more diligent, get more done, and therefore be more likely to achieve your goal. But the second reason why I think goals work is because of a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system is responsible for regulating sleep and waking, arousal and awareness. Its job is to activate your awareness when something relevant impacts upon one or more of your senses. It alerts us to what's going on. It means we notice something and signals get sent to the active processing parts of our brain. It's rather like one of those children's toys with different shaped holes and different shaped blocks. When your reticular activating system sees a block in the environment, it tests it against the holes that you've set up, the things you want to become aware of. And if it finds a block that fits a hole, it says, hey, pay attention. It's why sometimes if we've got perhaps a new coat, a new suit, a new phone, we become hyper aware of it. Whenever there is a danger, the possibility of dropping the phone, the possibility of scraping our suit against a wall, we're hyper aware of it. Eventually, our awareness dims down so that our reticular activating system can become aware of other things. It's also responsible for that thing which a lot of people have who get a new car and then start to notice how many other people are driving the same sort of car. Because we've created a car-shaped hole in our brain, and our reticular activating system is looking across the road and the highway and it's saying, there's one, there's one, there's one. When we set goals, we are programming our reticular activating system with a particular shaped hole. Which means that when an opportunity enters our environment, our reticular activating system spots it and it says, there's an opportunity, and you can choose whether to take it. If you hadn't set a goal, that opportunity could still be there. But because your reticular activating system hadn't been primed, you wouldn't notice that opportunity, and therefore you may not take that opportunity and give yourself the chance to reach the goal. Many people watching this video will say, I know all about goals, you need SMART goals. SMART goals are a framework that is used in many organisations for organisational goal setting and for personal goal setting within appraisal systems. There are some people out there who use a different framework. They use the framework of SMARTer goals. But I'm going to suggest to you a third framework. I'm going to suggest you use SMARTest goals. The S of SMARTest stands for specific. Experts set goals differently to non-experts. We know this because Timothy Cleary and Barry Zimmerman studied goal-setting behaviours of experts, of non-experts and of novices and compared them. they used basketball free throws as a measure, and they defined experts as those who could reach 70% success rate. Novices had never played basketball before, and non-experts were people who had less than a 55% success rate. This means there is quite a big gap between the non-experts and the experts. The ages, experience levels, practice habits of experts and non-experts were broadly the same. In fact, arguably, if you looked at the statistics, the non-experts worked harder and had more experience. So what is it that distinguished between the non-experts and the experts that made the experts that much better? The difference was simple. The experts set far more specific performance goals. The non-experts and the novices set very general goals. The goals that the experts set were based on technique and focus and outcome. Here are some examples. The experts would set specific outcome goals like 10 out of 10 shots successful. The non-experts would set general goals like to hit the basket. The experts would set very specific technique goals like how to bend their knee or the angle of their elbow on throwing. The non-experts would have very vague technique-based goals like to try harder or to throw better. And when it comes to focus, the kind of specific goals that experts would set would be like to keep their eye on the rim of the basket, whereas non-experts would set very general focus goals like to concentrate harder. So the guidance is to set specific goals and to monitor closely how you perform against them. Many people think that the M of smart, smarter or smartest should be measurable, but measurable is just one dimension of specific. So I'm going to suggest that the M should stand for meaningful, purposeful, worthwhile. Because if you're going to be motivated by a goal, you've got to believe in it. There's got to be a good juicy because to the question why. The A of smartest stands for action-oriented. Your goal needs to be susceptible to the action that you take. Ibrahim Sene, Dolores Albarracin, and Kenji Noguchi studied the impact of the way we talk to ourselves about our goals on the level of performance. They set a large number of students the same set of puzzles, but they looked at the impact on how the students thought about the task ahead of them. Some students, in their mind, said, I will solve the puzzles. And others thought, will I solve the puzzles? It's been very prevalent in popular culture, in pop psychology and self-help, to use the idea of affirmations. I will solve the puzzles. I will solve the puzzles. Setting up that positive mindset to make you successful. What Sene, Albarracin and Noguchi found was just the opposite. The students who thought, will I solve the puzzles, outperformed those that thought, I will solve the puzzles. It seems that element of doubt, that level of unfinished business in your mind, helps us to achieve our goals. It's always good to write down your goals, but don't write them down as I will. Write them down as will I. The R of smartest stands for responsible. Only set goals that are responsible, ones for which you can accept the consequences. If you know that your goal can have adverse consequences for other people, then that's going to nag away at your mind and it's going to frustrate, undermine your ability to achieve the goal. And let's face it, it should. Because if you achieve the goal and something bad happens as a consequence, then that's not responsible and you shouldn't have achieved it in the first place. So always check that your goals are responsible before setting them. The first T of smartest stands for towards. Choose goals that take you towards what you want rather than away from what you don't want. Too often people set goals of, I don't want to feel this, I don't want to be that, I want to stop this, I want to stop doing that. Those goals focus your mind on the thing you want to avoid. And consequently, you prime your reticular activating system to look for the things you don't want. Prime your reticular activating system to find the things you do want. Set goals that take you towards. And if you're in any doubt what you want, even though you know clearly what you don't want, ask yourself what the opposite is of the things you don't want. Make a list of all the things that are opposite to it, and one of those will almost certainly be suitable to have as a goal. The E of Smartest stands for exciting. Set yourself goals that excite you, make you happy, make you enthusiastic. Yes, you can set goals that you think are dull, but why should you? You've only got one life. Choose goals that really get you up in the morning. The second S of Smartest stands for supported. It's always good to figure out where the support is going to come from to help you achieve your goals. That's not to say that they shouldn't be action-oriented and you should take responsibility for them, but having taken responsibility for them, it doesn't hurt to find the people who can help you, and the materials and the equipment and the knowledge and the resources. So in thinking about goal setting, also think about where the support's going to come from. And finally, the second T of Smartest stands for time-bound. If you don't put a time limit on your goal, then your brain will constantly be thinking, don't worry, plenty of time. And it can relax. If there's a time limit, then as you get closer and closer to the time bound, your brain will work harder at your goals. Setting goals is undoubtedly a way to be more effective, to improve your performance and be more productive. But don't just set smart goals, don't even make them smarter. Set the smartest goals that you possibly can. Please give us a thumbs up if you like this video. There's loads more great management courses content to come, so please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell so you don't miss any of it. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video, and in the meantime, keep learning.